Hi, friends. My name's Kira Masquerade, or you could just call me Kira, and welcome to my cosplay channel. Now, for those of you that have been following me for some time on my other social media, this has been a long time coming. And I had this idea that with COVID, I would have all this extra time staying at home to work on cosplay projects and make videos, and that just didn't happen. But hey, better late than never, right? So, what better way to debut my cosplay channel than by becoming Lord Nuxanor himself? For those of you that don't know, Nux Taku is a wonderful YouTuber that I love and adore. I will link his channel down below. And I greatly enjoy his content, and quite frankly, he's carried me through some tough times, so thanks, Lord Nux. Yes, if you're interested in how I made his mask or the sweatshirt that I'm currently wearing, I will be posting a video at a later date with the cost progress. But for now, this is just a quick kind of walkthrough of how I did my makeup and my full transformation into Lord Nux. Quick disclaimer, I am not a makeup artist. I don't even pretend to know how makeup works. I just do my best. But I will put on screen the products that I used and how I used them, I guess. So without further ado, becoming Lord Nux. So I started with my hair braided and pinned up because I wanted to spare you guys the agony of watching me braid hip-length hair. It's easier to do your makeup when your hair is not in your face. I also recommend not putting your costume on until your makeup is done. However, because this is a pullover sweatshirt, I didn't want to smudge a bunch of face paint, so this is an exception to the rules. Once I put my wig cap on, I like to prime my face with, I use Julep primer, just so that it's nice and smooth and ready to go. Next, I had to make a decision on what to do to cover my eyebrows. So I decided to use a combination of the old school glue stick method and a newer technique that I've recently found, which are these special eyebrow covering products specifically designed for cosplay. I will put the name on the screen here momentarily. So you want to get the glue as much in your eyebrows as possible. Get it in, get it out, get it up, get it under, and then flatten your eyebrows by combing them up so that way they're not overlapping each other. You want to make them as flat as possible. Let that dry completely, go in for round 2, and usually I do multiple rounds, 3 or 4 rounds, but because I'm using this other eyebrow cover product, I didn't feel the need to do so this time. I really like these eyebrow covers because I have such a hard time getting the eyebrows completely 100% perfectly flat, and then it takes like 50 layers of concealer and foundation to get that area as flat as possible. So this is a little hack that I like to use. Alternately, there's a really wonderful product which is basically geisha wax, which you can find on eBay or other places that sell geisha wax, which they use to cover their eyebrows with before they do their iconic white face paint. I will go over those in more details in a later video, but for now, this is the method I chose. Next is time for the face paint. I like to use Paradise water-soluble paints. As the name implies, you dilute it with a little bit of water, just like you would watercolors, and apply it to your face. I like to use a round kabuki brush in order to get that nice, flat, even whiteness, or whatever body paint color you choose to use. And you want to make sure that you're moving in small circles and fine dabbing in order to get even amount of coverage. Using white face paint takes some time because you have to layer it carefully, otherwise it's gonna get that really cracked and cakey look. So definitely take your time if you're going with white face paint. I'm gonna go ahead and spare you guys the agony of watching me put white paint on my face for hours on end, so let's fast forward. I personally like to seal the makeup with some makeup fixative in between layers. It makes me feel like it's drying more securely, but you want to make sure that that is completely dry before you go in with layer number 2. Alternately, you can use baby powder to set your makeup. I personally use a combination of both, but between layers, I like to use the setting spray. And there's the baby powder. I like to use a foofy poof brush to put it on. The nice thing about baby powder is that it absorbs excess moisture. So even if you're not using a water-based face paint, if you're using a grease paste, that can definitely absorb the excess moisture and keep it from smudging on your costume. It also dries translucent. So if you're not using a white face paint, let's say you're doing purple, and that white powder on there makes your purple look light purple, don't worry, it will regain its color. Just make sure you brush off the excess baby powder. But it's a wonderful way to keep your makeup from smudging on your own costume, or worse, somebody else's costume. And because I'm extra or paranoid, I double seal it with some fixative. I don't want this makeup going anywhere. So, I don't know, better safe than sorry. Personal opinion here. Okay, story time with Kira. So I had erased my eyebrows prior to leaving for a con, and while driving to the con, of course, I wasn't the one doing the driving, but I started to do the rest of my makeup in the car. However, before I had a chance to draw on my eyebrows, I happened to look over to the car next to us, and I may or may not have made some kids cry. Yep, that's the story of my life. Okay, so speaking of eyebrows, what I'm using here is actually a grease face paint. I like using grease face paint because it's a little bit thicker and easier to work with. I'd like to think of it as oil paint. So it allows me to draw on my face more distinctly and clearly, and it looks really great on the stark white face paint. Alternately, you can use an eyebrow pencil, eyeliner, Crayola markers, whatever you so desire to draw in those eyebrows. And the shape of the eyebrow will greatly define the character's facial expression. So the steeper the eyebrows, the more intense the look. The flatter the eyebrows, the more docile. So keep that in mind when you're drawing on your eyebrows. Nux's avatar has shades of blue in his original character design, so I decided to take some liberties and go in with a dark blue into the eyebrow and give it a little bit of, I guess, an ombre look with the black and the blue. That will help blend the whole look, including the white and blue on the sleeves. Furthermore, I don't have any blue bronzer or blush, so I decided to use a bunch of eyeshadows to help contour the face and make it look more three-dimensional. I ended up using a white sparkly eyeshadow instead of highlighter to help kind of make those cheekbones pop and those brow bones pop as well as the ridge of the nose, which, well, we will see here shortly. It also seems that Lord Sashomer was hell-bent on getting in my way tonight, but I hope you enjoy my little sea serpent floating around on screen. You're welcome! Okay, not half bad. I guess time for the pièce de résistance. So, after 30 agonizing minutes trying to get these scleras in, they refused to behave. I kept having to poke at them and realign them with my eyeball. Honestly, it was hilarious. I looked crooked-eyed the entire night. It was great. So, in order to make my eyeballs look like deep, dark pits of madness, befitting of a true mad genius such as Lord Nuxanor, I decided to go ahead and fill in the waterline with black eyeliner, as well as try to extend the blackness of the scleras all around the eyelid. This creates the effect of my eyes being much bigger than they actually are, and it really makes those blue irises stand out much more. Time for lashes. So even though Nux is technically a male character, I think, or I should say his avatar is a male character, I decided to put on long lashes anyway. It really does give a little bit of oomph to the eyes and makes them pop. And honestly, even when I'm cosplaying male characters, I like to get a little bit dramatic with my makeup. Primarily because pictures flatten you. You go from a 3D image to a 2D image, so creating that extra contouring helps. But also because the god of makeup himself, Kelton, whom I will also link down in the description, gave me constructive criticism at one of our competitions and said, don't be afraid to go all out. So there you have it. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I got lazy with styling Nux's wig. Quite frankly, I felt that just putting in some hairspray and teasing the hair to make it a little bit more floofy worked just fine since his hair is disheveled anyway. So yeah, didn't try very hard here. Sorry, Nux. For the mask, I actually glued a comb in the back, which nicely slides through the wig and fastens to the head. It's a really easy hack to get masks to stick to your head, aside from magnets or clips, which are all valid ways to attach masks to your head, but this is the method I chose. And there you have it, friends. Only 3 tedious hours of carefully applying makeup, my eyeballs being all wonky, and time for a photo shoot. Stay tuned for a cost progress video of how I actually made the mask and the sweatshirt, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!